welcome everybody to the first episode of our Pokemon Scarlet and Violet adventure. My name is CubeProductions, and today we're playing a new team. Well, technically the first team. Today we're playing the doubles format, so we've been trying to get the Master Ball, and I just started the season because I haven't only been playing Pokemon as of late. I've had a lot going on, and I decided I want to get into the game, and because I got my Elgato working, I want to actually post these videos on YouTube, so y'all can give me feedback on how bad my team building is and how bad my strategy is. But first, let's get over the team. Today, we're playing with Meowscarada, Iron Moth, Iron Bundle, Oranguru, Annihilape, and Klefki. Our Meowscarada has Focus Sash and has U-Turn, Play Rough, Flower Trick, and Night Slash, with Protein as the ability that way we can easily change our ability or our typing, that way we can dodge our opponent's moves. It's Max Attack and Max Speed. Iron Moth is Heat Wave, Bug Buzz, Energy Ball, and Sludge Wave, and this team mainly revolves around Iron Moth because I really wanted to use Iron Moth. I think it has extremely high potential to be really strong. We just need more people to use it, and I'm going to try it out today. It has Choice Scarf because I want to outspeed opposing Pokemon, and also it is the Fire type that will be use Heat Wave and obliterate our opponent's Pokemon. We have Iron Bundle with the Quick Draw ability as well, with boosted energy instead that we can increase our special attack, Hydro Pump, Freeze Dry, Flip Turn, and Protect. Actually, I was supposed to Protect on Iron Moth as well, but this team is still in the learning phase. I am not the best Pokemon battler, as you'll see in these videos, but I'm trying to get better at the game, and one step at a time basically, and I need to get more Protect TMs. I don't have any more, so I gotta get some more, but that is our Iron Bundle set. We have Oranguru, which is our support Pokemon, Power Play, Psychic, Instruct, and Trick Room with Citrus Berry. It has Telepathy as the ability that way we can use Sludge Wave and not hit ourselves. And we use Instruct that way we can Heat Wave with our Iron Moth and then Instruct it to Heat Wave again and do massive damage. Annihilate, which is a really weird set for Annihilate, by the way. It is Rage, Fish, Close Combat, Terra Blast, and Final Gambit. The reason why it's a weird set is because our Iron Bundle is max special attack, max speed. Our Oranguru is max HP, max defense. Our Annihilate, however, is max HP, max defense, and then has Assault Vest as the item because we want to basically take as many hits as possible so we can stack our Rage, Fish damage, and destroy everything while also still being alive. And we have Terra Dark instead of Ghost or Fighting, that we can be immune to second type moves because Armor Rouge and ND are everywhere in the rank ladder, so we want to make sure we can actually live attacks or just nullify all their attacks. And lastly, we have Klefki with Metal Sound, Reflect, Light Screen, and Dazzling Gleam with Light Play as the item and Prankster as the ability. Klefki is really there, honestly, just to put the screens up. That way our Pokemon don't die in one hit to every single thing you fight against. And to use Metal Sound, that way we can decrease the spell defense of our opponent's Pokemon, so then our Heat Wave and our Hydro Pump do lots of damage. Now that I explained the team, we're gonna go straight into the battles, and I'll explain my thought process with my team and my plays through the battles that are coming forward. Okay, our first opponent today is using Scizor, Fluttermane, Caliber, King Gambit, Dondozo, and Rotom Wash. But looks like his team is gonna be extremely offensive, with Fluttermane destroying everything with special attacks and Rotom Wash being able to synergize really well with Scizor, protecting itself from the fire type weakness. But also gotta think about who is going to terrestrialize and into what types. So from this preview, I don't really know who to lead with, honestly. I just know that I'm almost always gonna lead with Klefki to set up the screens, and the rest is up to really me. Okay, my opponent starts off with Dondozo and Rotom Wash, and I started with Meowscarada and Klefki. I knew I wanted to start off with Klefki because I wanted to set up my screens, but I had no idea what my opponent was going to use. Luckily, I did send out Meowscarada, mainly because of the fact that I can just U-turn out if I really need to. So because my opponent has two water types, of course I'm going to stay in and use Flower Trick because I want to do some decent damage to both of them while setting up my screens. My opponent is going to probably, put out fearing a grass type move, but instead they decided to stay in, and you know how Flower Trick works. It is a really powerful grass move that does not miss, and always crits, instantly killing Rotom Wash. Now, honestly, I thought Rotom Wash was really bulky, but apparently it just gets destroyed by being outside, which makes sense because I am max attack. But then this Dondozo is different. It uses Yawn. I've never actually seen Dondozo, honestly, besides with Tatsugiri, so I don't really know what they like to do. But when he used Yawn, I knew immediately I wanted to switch out. But because I have U-turn, I'm not really worried. So with Klefki, I'm going to use my light screen to set up both light screen and reflect, and we're going to use her out of there because we don't want to fall asleep next turn. But for my opponent, I don't know what he wants to do yet because he's taking a while. I did target the Scarlet just in case he had a Focus Sash. Just like, get rid of it. I'm also not really that worried about Dondozo because if Dondozo has Earthquake, I have Reflect and I'm max defense. Yes, it's super effective, but I'm not that worried about it. So I decided to switch into my Annihilate because Fighting type versus Ice type I win, and I'm insanely bulky. And luckily he uses Ice Sphere because he doesn't want to miss Ice Crash, so he decides to hit me 4 times, causing my Rage Fish to increase even more now. And he's going to use Yawn on my Klefki, which is definitely a problem because now I can't use any more of my screens, but luckily I already set them both up. Doesn't really matter if Klefki falls asleep, honestly. So we're going to use Close Combat on Excalibur, hopefully destroying it. But I decided to use Rage Fist, and the reason why I decided to use Rage Fist was because I was afraid my Excalibur would leave. And I knew whatever came in could not resist a Rage Fist. So he had no normal type Pokemon on the field, on the team, so I wasn't really worried. So he used Earthquake, doing no damage, because max defense on both, and then Rage Fist is going to easily one-hit this Pokemon and destroy it. Well, 10 let one hit because he already took damage, but you know what I mean. Doing an insane amount of damage. And we'll use Dazzling Gleam. The reason why I use Dazzling Gleam is because I thought he would switch out to something that could, like, not resist Rage Fist, but at least live it, and then Dazzling Gleam would just take care of the rest. But instead, he decided to just stay in. Now my Klefki's gonna fall asleep, and we now know Dondozo actually has leftovers. It seems like a supportive Dondozo set with Earthquake, Yawn. I don't know what other moves it has, but right now it has those two. And then his last Pokemon is Kingambit. I love the shiny color. And because Supreme Overlord is going to get an attack buff, but I'm not really worried because, again, I am Annihilate with both screens up. So I'm going to use Close Combat on this. It's 4 times weak to it, so it should knock it out. But I'm almost certain it was going to Terrasilize. But the reason why I didn't try and predict the Terrasilization was because if I predicted it and I was wrong, then I would have gained nothing from it. Also, I have no way to know what he's going to Terrasilize into. But most people will Terrasilize into a type like Fairy, that way they cover the weaknesses. For some reason why he Terrasilizes into Dark. Using Sucker Punch, Dark type, and is going to do a lot of damage because of the fact that he is Terrasilized. But luckily for me, I am max defense, so it's not going to instantly kill me. Sadly, our defense do get lower because of Close Combat, and Klefki is still asleep. So at this point, I'm thinking that there's not really any way to win with my Annihilate still. He's going to Sucker Punch and destroy it. And then Dondozo uses Fizzer, and I'm glad I dodged that because I would have been so mad if I got hit by that. So knowing that Dondozo is going to keep using Earthquakes and Yawns, I decided to stay in with Klefki anyway because it's going to wake up hopefully eventually. And with Annihilate, I didn't want to switch out because I knew if I switched out, then he could just instantly kill me with, if he didn't go for Sucker Punch, he could just kill me with any other type move. And if he does go with Sucker Punch, I would dodge it, but I didn't want to risk it. So instead, I decided to do something bold. I Terrasilize into a Dark Punch. And the reason why I did this was because Sucker Punch is now resisted, and there is no way it can finish me off. Now that I have done this, I wasn't really worried about the Sucker Punch, but he didn't even go for Sucker Punch for some reason. Instead, he just let me destroy him, and I wasn't really mad about that, but I am a little confused what he decided to go for. He probably thought I was going to switch out to preserve it, so he decided to go for a different move like I said he might do. And Klefki is still asleep. And even though we are Terrasilized Dark, it doesn't really help that much against Dondozo. But Dondozo uses Wave Crash. We're not going to die because max defense plus Light Screen and Reflect. And Dondozo going to gain more health with leftovers. But I was thinking a Rage Fist from this range will do a lot of damage to Dondozo. I don't know what Dondozo set this is. Because like I said, I have never actually fought against Dondozo before. That wasn't this use Tatsukiri, so I'll use Rage Fist, hopefully get it down to the red, or just kill it. And it does get down to red, and Klefki is still asleep. I don't know how many times, like it's in 3 turns, and then he's gonna wave crash into my Annihilape and it's going to get destroyed. But it's fine, one Pokemon and he only has one left. I lost one, but he still has one left, so I'm not really worried. So all I have to do is go into Meowscarada and use Flower Trick to destroy it. Gets more leftover recovery. But it doesn't really matter because my team just obliterated this opponent's team. There was nothing he could really do. I didn't even like do anything special, honestly. It just, I had a feeling he was going to lead off with something that had a weakness to grass. So I did lead off on Meowscarada, but at the same time, I didn't expect Meowscarada to put in so much work. So we can turn to a grass type and destroy it. And that's game 1. I think the first game I ever did with this team, I won on the ranked ladder. I was so happy. But also, I knew that just because I won one game doesn't mean I'm going to win all. Okay, our second opponent today is using Great Tusk, Iron Bundle, Meowscarada, Roaring Moon, Annihilape, and Palafin. An extremely offensive team that is going to destroy me if I don't pick correctly. So like usual, I'm going to probably live off of Klefki because Klefki is the screener. I don't always lead them off, but this point I really wanted to. The reason why I'm going to lead off Meowscarada too is because he has 3 Pokemon that are weak to grass, and if he does bring out something that's really annoying, I can just U-turn out. Meowscarada is actually a really safe lead, and that's why I really like it. Let's get on to the battle. Here our opponents are Meowscarada and Palafin, and we're going to send off Klefki and Meowscarada, because that's the normal lead for this team. And of course, we're going to set up our normal screen. I just have to use Reflect this time because Palafin is going to probably use Flip Turn, or just leave and come back in, that way he can get 0 to hero. And Meowscarada is going to probably U-turn so he can get out and bring out whatever he wants to do, because U-turn is 4 times effective against my Meowscarada. But I'm not really worried either because we can change our type whenever we feel like it. So I decided to stay in both my Pokemon because even though he does have a super effective move against me, I'm not really that worried. Both screens being up is not going to be a problem. So Iron Bundle appears. I'm going to, of course, use Flower Trick, but first, Sucker Punch is going to happen, but it fails. Do you know why it failed? Because for some reason, he decided to Sucker Punch a Klefki, knowing it's not going to do that much damage, and it's not very effective. We're going to use Flower Trick on Palafin so we can do some damage to it if it does stay in. But luckily, Iron Bundle came in, and it got destroyed because Iron Bundle defense stat is pretty high, but it's not, its HP stat isn't very high, and Meowscarada does so much damage. We are max attack, which does matter. We are max attack, not max speed. Well, we are max attack, max speed, but our nature is actually adamant, so we can't outspeed the opponent's Meowscarada if he does have max speed. And here comes Annihilape. I'm going to set up a light screen. I don't really have a reason to, so I was thinking about setting up a light screen, but then I was like, nah. They only have physical attackers. So I just use Dazzling Gleam to do damage to everything. And then I just Tri-Slice into a grass type. And the reason why I Tri-Slice into grass type is because I was like, well, I know what Annihilape does. I'm not trying to get Final Gambited. And I'm not trying to get one-shot by Drain Punch. So I'm going to just obliterate it. And I want to destroy it with my grass type move. So first, we're going to use Meowscarada, Flower Trick, plus Terrestrialization is going to obliterate it and explode it. And we luckily got it to yellow. I thought we were going to actually kill it, but it's so bulky. And then you use Flower Trick on our Klefki for some reason. I don't know why he's doing that, honestly. I don't get it, but it's happening. And then he's going to use her now, doing half my health. And he's going to go into Palafin so he becomes 0 hero, which matters a lot because even though I do have a super effective grass type move, Palafin has Jet Punch, a extremely powerful priority water move, plus a super high attack stat is going to obliterate both of Pokemon. But because of Klefki, Dazzling Gleam is going to do a lot of damage to Meowscarada and a little bit of damage to Palafin in case I had a Focus Sash. It is now destroyed. I do set up light screen now, even though I have no reason to. I just do it because what if he wants to use a special move? I have the ability to just say no. So we're going to Flower Trick into the Palafin. I thought it was going to protect, but instead it was Jet Punch into Klefki. Again, I don't know why. And then Meowscarada Flower Tricks into my Meowscarada. And I almost die because that's how much damage Meowscarada does, but luckily we survive. And this is the instance where I learned that we are not faster than the other opponent's Meowscarada. Well, we actually, I don't know if it was a speed tie. It must be a speed tie. I think we outsped last turn, actually. So, Flower Trick, we're going to destroy Palafin. And now we all have to do Annihilate and Meowscarada. And Dazzling Gleam is going to do a bunch of damage, destroying it in one hit because the way double target moves work in doubles, if it targets both players, it does less damage, but if it only targets one player, it does the actual right amount of damage, which is really cool. So if that destroy, because his Meowscarada does not have protein, I noticed that it never changed its typing, or did it? No, it never changed its typing because it would have been super effective. I mean, it did only change once. I don't remember actually. So we're gonna use Dazzling Gleam, we're gonna use Flower Trick, and we're gonna win. And I'm not really worried because Annihilape definitely does not outspeed Meowscarada, and luckily Annihilape does not get Shadow Sneak because I'll be stupid. And down it goes. So this team got obliterated by just 2 of my Pokemon. That's another reason why I kept Terrestrialized Grass on my Meowscarada, because Flower Trick plus Terrestrialized Grass max attack does so much damage because it automatically crits. And honestly, that was a great battle, and I'm glad I got to show y'all that amazing battle where I destroyed my opponent. Okay, the next battle, our opponent's team is really interesting. They have Gyarados, Kilowattrel, Black-and-Rock, I was in Argentina, I'm gonna say Tyranitar, Armarouge, and Indeedee. So Armarouge and Indeedee combination is really annoying, but luckily I have a strategy that completely counters that if they lead it. And of course, in order to counter it, I'm gonna have to use Klefki and Annihilate. Which notice how I have not used Iron Moth yet, and Iron Moth is basically the high damage dealer on my team. That is because even though Iron Moth does do lots of damage, and I have 4 attacking moves instead of having Protect, and it is Choice Scarf, so it can outspeed everything, its typing really hinders it. So I'm going to start off with this team, and let's see how we do in this battle. So our opponent is going to send off Indeedee and Armarouge, of course, and we're going to send off Klefki and Annihilate. So the normal strat is Psychic Surge plus Expanding Force, destroys everything, and because Annihilape is a fighting type, it will die. But because I have Klefki, we're going to set up a Light Screen, and we're going to Terrestrialize into a Dark type. And we're going to use Terra Blast on Indeedee. Now, I could have just targeted the Armarouge, but the reason why I didn't target Armarouge is because I already had a feeling that Indeedee was going to use Follow Me, so I just targeted Indeedee. Don't do that. Make sure you target the actual one you want to target. But also, I'm not worried at all about Armarouge. I'm more worried about Indeedee anyway, so it makes more sense for me to target it in the first place. That's why I did it. So we're going to set up a Light Screen, that way we can't be instantly killed by Expanding Force. And then we're going to Terra Blast into Indeedee, doing a bunch of damage, so we can get rid of this thing. But Indeedee is so bulky, it does not die, of course. And we're going to use Expanding Force. It's going to do no damage to Annihilate because we're a Dark type, and it's going to do half almost Klefki's HP because that's how much damage Armarouge does because of Light Screen and Psychic Terrain. Then we're going to decide to set up a Reflect because having both screens up at last 8 turns is really good. And then we're going to use Terra Blast on Indeedee. Even though I could have targeted Armarouge, I decided to target Indeedee because I was going to get rid of it. Set up the Reflect. Indeedee's going to use Protect, so it can't be destroyed by our Terra Blast, which doesn't really matter to me anyway because I'll just destroy it next turn. And then Armarouge is like, well, I might as well use Armor Cannon and obliterate my Klefki. Klefki is down, which is perfectly fine actually, because I want to switch it anyway, and I will risk the defense and special defense of Armarouge. So now that Klefki is gone, I can decide to switch into my next Pokemon. And what am I going to switch into, you might ask? Well, of course, we're going to switch into Meowscarada, even though I know he's a fire type, but I don't care, because we can change our type at any point. And if we change to a dark type, we can't use Expanding Force, and if you change to a dark type, then the fire type weakness goes away. So we're going to use Night Slash into Indeedee, and we're going to use Terra Blast into Armarouge. Both destroying them, because we do not want to deal with that nonsense. At first, I was going to use Final Gambit, because I wanted to make sure it died. But then I was like, that's not really a point, I can just use Terra Dark and destroy it. So our opponent's going to go for a Double Protect, because he knows he's going to get destroyed. It's not going to work, luckily. Night Slash, we're going to turn to a Dark type, and we're going to slash that stupid creature, and destroy it. With Indeedee gone, I'm not worried at all, and we know Armarouge is going to get destroyed because of Terra Blast. So Terra Blast Dark is going to obliterate it. I've noticed that every single game we have Terra typed this, well besides the second game, we Terra typed our Annihilape, and Terra Dark Annihilape really is carrying. Like, it's doing all the work. We are doing so well because of it. So our opponent has to send in his last 2 Pokemon, and I'm over waiting. I'm like, I don't know what he's gonna send into. So I was expecting Gyarados, but I was not expecting Tyranitar. So Gyarados comes out as I expected, intimidating both my Pokemon, lowering their attack. That's why I expected it, because Intimidate is really strong. But we have Defiant, so instead of our attack going down by 1, it goes back up by 2, so we have +1 attack, and then hers comes Sandstream. So I decided to U-turn out, because even though I could have used Flower Trick and a lot of damage, I was almost certain that he was going to decide to Terra Slash into a flying type, and my grass type move would do no damage. So there's a Terra, and I thought, like I said, Terra and Pokemon tries to a flying type, because you see that all the time in rank. But instead, it's Terra Ghost Gyarados. I don't know why. I've never seen this before, or maybe I'm just blind and I just don't know things. And I'm confused too, because I am Terra Dark Annihilape, so he's seen me use my Terra all the time, so I'm a little confused why he decided to use that now. But he Terra Slash into a Ghost type, and I use U-turn to get into my Iron Bundle, so I can use my booster energy, so I can raise my special attack and use hopefully Hydro Pump and destroy this what's it called, Tyranitar. But then my opponent decides to use, I want to use Final Gambit on the Gyarados, but he turns to a Ghost type. So luckily we live. We don't kill ourselves. Iron Bundle skillfully dodges that Rock Slide, and that means we get to live and attack next turn with a Hydro Pump or a Freeze Dry, whatever choice we want to do. And then every Pokemon besides, of course, Tyranitar is going to get hurt by the Sandstorm. And now we have the choice of using Hydro Pump on Tyranitar and using whatever move we want to use on Gyarados. So I was going to use Rage Fist at first, but for some reason I chose Terra Dark, Terra Blast, and luckily we do not miss the Hydro Pump, which I always miss when I play and use that move. So down goes Tyranitar, and then we're going to use, of course, our Terra Dark move on the, what's it called? The Gyarados, and he uses Stone Edge as no damage, and goodbye Gyarados. Even though with the attack drop, well technically we have an attack increase thanks to Gyarados, we destroy it, and that's the third game. Easily done, because Terra Dark Annihilape carries my team. Okay, and for the last battle, we have a different team actually. This team has Corviknight and Pincurchin instead of Annihilape and Klefki. And this is the team I made originally before I decided to change some of the stuff. As you can see, I added Klefki in the past 3 games, and notice how my opponent's team has a Klefki on it. That's the reason why I added it. You'll see as we continue, their Klefki did a lot of work in this battle. But I really wanted to show this battle because even though the team I made was supposed to feature Iron Moth, I never even used Iron Moth or Rangaroo in the entire time I made this team and this video. So I really wanted to show you how great they actually are. So I'm going to show you this video where we had a little different team where I could use it. And the reason why this team is so different is because I wanted to use Pincurchin to activate Iron Moth's Quirk Drive ability, and you still use the Choice Scarf, but I never got to actually show it off in this video, so I want to show it off now. So stay tuned for this amazing battle. So my opponent starts off with Klefki and Iron Valiant, as I start off with Meowscarada and Iron Bundle. So Klefki at first didn't really scare me. I knew he was going to set up the screens, but Iron Valiant definitely scared me because I know what it can do, even though not many people actually use it. It can be a special attacker, it can be a physical attacker, it can be mixed. So both Quirk Drive abilities, well both our boosted energy we use, Iron Valiant and Iron Bundle. As a result, we're both going to get special attack. Well, I'm going to get a special attack increase, and he's going to get a speed increase, which really scares me, because now Iron Valiant will outspeed my Iron Bundle, and I know Iron Valiant carries Thunderbolt, so I'm going to protect with my Iron Bundle, because I have seen gameplay, I do know different sets, and I was thinking about putting Iron Valiant in one of my teams, so of course I had to look up his moves. So Iron Valiant uses Protect, and notice how his Protect went first. That means he is indeed faster than my Iron Bundle. So we're both going to Protect, and then I'm going to decide to use my attack with Meowscarada, but of course here comes the Reflect. For a good reason, we are a physical attacker and a special attacker. I'm going to use U-turn, but sadly, Iron Valiant decided to change into a not change. He decided to protect. We do change into a bug type, however, so we aren't gonna take that much damage from his moves because bug does resist fighting. So we're gonna use Play Rough into Iron Valiant to do lots of damage to it, and then we're going to use Hydro Pump into what's it called? Yeah, Hydro Pump into Iron Valiant as well because I know that he won't protect the second time. But I was extremely worried of a Thunderbolt because that honestly is an extremely strong move that Iron Valiant carries. And I thought about switching out my Iron Bundle, but I chose to say it in just because I wanted to do as much damage as possible to Iron Valiant because it just can be honestly a threat. So my opponent decides to take a long time to pick his moves, and I'm like, waiting. You understand the waiting process. So after I continue waiting, I realized he's gonna set a light screen. Not really worried. I was going to do as much damage as possible. Then he uses close combat, destroying Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle does have a lot of defense, but its HP stat is really low. It gets obliterated, and there goes my Iron Bundle, but it's fine. We're going to use Play Rough onto Iron Valiant and do almost the entire health bar. And then we're going to send our Rangaroo. And the reason why I sent a Rangaroo into this battle was because I wanted to use Instruct and or Trick Room if needed to stop my opponent's plays. So we're going to use Play Rough again into Iron Valiant because I want to make sure it gets destroyed. And then I'm going to use Trick Room because I want to make sure that my team is, because I have a feeling my team will have slower moves, will be slower. Iron Valiant is extremely fast. I have the Trick Room. I think honestly using Trick Room was kind of a bad play, but I did it anyway because I was like, I noticed Iron Valiant is faster than me and I do want to slow it. And if he does switch out, Trick Room only lasts for 5 turns, and I can just use Trick Room again later on to revert it back to normal, so I'm not really worried. And because Rangaroo is the slowest on the team, his Trick Room, well, technically Trick Room is negative actually priority, so it won't go first. But he switches out of his Iron Valiant and sends out Pachirisu, and uses Metal Sound onto my Rangaroo, so he takes more damage with special attacks. And that right there was the main reason why I chose to add a Rangaroo to my team. I mean, not Rangaroo. To add Klefki. I noticed what he was doing and I was like, wow, that's really good. So we use Trick Room. And now Meowscarada is slower actually than the Pachirisu, which is why I did not want it. I should not have used Trick Room, but it was fine. I just decided that I'm going to do as much damage as possible. So we're going to use Psychic into Pachirisu. Oh, no, we're going to use Power Play with Pachirisu actually. And then he's going to use Metal Sound onto my Meowscarada so it can get destroyed by another attacking move. So I expected this Pachirisu to be supportive, honestly, but I also expected it to do a lot of damage. But instead, he uses Nuzzle, where it does no damage. But it does paralyze me. But it's not a bad thing, actually, because now we're paralyzed, we outslow the Pachirisu. And notice how Pachirisu actually outsped my Meowscarada, even though we have the Trick Room up. Because Meowscarada actually, I think, is faster than Pachirisu, so I think that Pachirisu must be Scarf. If we outspeed it in Trick Room. Well, yeah, outslow it in Trick Room, I guess the term to use. So my opponent is going to take a long time to pick his moves again. So my opponent finally decides to pick his move. I cut out how long it took because it took a while. He switches out his Klefki and sends out Rotom Wash, which I can easily destroy with Flower Trick, as you saw in the first battle of this video. Flower Trick plus Rotom Wash is not a good idea. So then he comes with Iron Valiant, he double switches. So I use Instruct because I really wanted to destroy everything. Meowscarada is paralyzed though, so he gets paralyzed. But it's fine because I use Instruct, so I'm going to attack twice, and then he gets paralyzed a second time. So literally nothing happened this entire turn. I was so mad. I was like, are you serious? But luckily my opponent's strings, they were off, so I can destroy this Rotom with Flower Trick easily. And then with Rangaroo, I was going to either use Instruct to be supportive. Also, I used Instruct because I was like, yeah, I got paralyzed twice. I'm making sure I get my attack off. So he used Iron Valiant, used Protect, because he thinks I'm going to target him, but I'm actually not going to because I don't care. You're so low anyway, I'm not really worried about you. So now we're going to use Play Rough, which doesn't work because he's protected. But it's fine because of the fact that we're going to use Flower Trick and Destroy. Skill. It did not die though. It was saying what? That means that the first Rotom was not max attack. And Hydro Pump is going to do a lot of damage to my Rangaroo because we have minus 2 total defense, but it's fine because we do have a berry. And as I thought, Rotom is supposed to be much tankier. So, and we know Rotom will play more tankier because the first battle he must have been a special attacking variant, and this one is a more bulky version because of the fact that it took that Fire Trick, and Fire Trick does so much damage. And the Reflect definitely wore off, so it must be bulkier than I thought it was. So we decided to pick our moves, and our opponent takes a long time to pick. I can see why though. This is a kind of a stressful situation. He has to think about my last Pokemon and the fact that Meowscarada at any point could just use her out. So he decides to Terrasilize. I thought he was Terrasilize into a Electric type for Thunderbolt, but instead he Terrasilize to a Fighting type that way he can destroy me with close combat. And then I use Instruct because I want to make sure I get first, and because of the fact that I am trying to make sure that I do not I can get my attack off. And of course Meowscarada gets paralyzed because of course, but then I get my Fire Trick off anyway, and there goes Rotom. Instruct is actually really good when you're paralyzed because you can have a chance to actually attack twice instead of getting paralyzed. But then Iron Valiant uses close combat and Meowscarada gets obliterated. But luckily it survives. I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how it survived because Meowscarada's HP and defense stats are not good. And I did not set up, and I don't have Klefki on this team, so there is no light screen or reflect. So Meowscarada just tanked the thing. I'm surprised. So here comes Pachirisu again, and I expected quick attack. I'm pretty sure Pachirisu gets quick attack. I could be wrong, but I want to say it gets quick attack. So that's what I expected. But I use, of course, the same thing I always do, which is gonna be Trick Room instead of Instruct this time though, because Trick Room. I know Meowscarada is the slower Pokemon. So I did not know Pachirisu got follow me, and I was not prepared for that because you don't really see it very often. But here comes Iron Valiant using close combat, but he uses Oranguru because he doesn't want me to set up another Trick Room to make sure that my Meowscarada actually outspeeds. He also does want me to use Instruct to make sure my Meowscarada can attack. So Meowscarada uses Play Rough on Pachirisu, does no damage, and Pachirisu has a berry, so he basically heals up the amount of damage I did to him. And I am extremely worried that I'm going to lose this game now, but luckily I have my Iron Moth on the field. And I should really be grateful because Iron Valiant destroyed my Oranguru and my Iron Moth is Choice Scarf. I have the ability to be faster than everything on my opponent's field. So I'm going to Terra type into a Fire type because I want to make sure everything gets destroyed by this Heat Wave. And we do outspeed because he already used his booster injury and he does not have any way to use Quirk Drive. So our Choice Scarf Iron Moth will be able to do an insane amount of damage with this Heat Wave as long as I don't miss. So we're going to Terrasilize. And the first time you're going to see Iron Moth on this channel, and the first time you're seeing it in this video, I actually, like I said, this team is not fully finished yet. I actually want to have a Terra Poison Iron Moth because Sludge Wave is a more powerful version of Heat Wave, and also it does not miss. And Poison type and the Fairy type Pokemon exists everywhere, so I really want to use I want to use Sludge Wave, but Heat Wave will do the trick too, because Terra, Fire, Heat Wave obliterates everything. But I need more Terra Crystals to actually be able to change my Terra type. And of course, Meowscarada gets paralyzed because it got paralyzed 4 of the 8 times I think it's used its moves. I don't understand why my luck is terrible. And then here comes Klefki. And then Klefki will get obliterated by this Terra Fire Heat Wave as well because I don't care about your light screen, you will die. So I'm going to use Play Rough with my with my Meowscarada. Doesn't really matter who I target because I know that Iron Valiant, I keep using Iron names mixed up because there's so many Iron names, but Iron Valiant will get destroyed by a Heat Wave at that low health. And I know Klefki might survive it because it has pretty decent bulk and life screen, but it doesn't matter actually because Heat Wave does so much damage, and there goes Iron Valiant. And because Meowscarada did attack did get off the attack, it will be able to win, but nope, because I got paralyzed again. Yay. And then we learned that Klefki actually is using leftovers, which I would never run. Not because of me, but because I like to have my screens last forever. You see how long this battle took, having Light Clay really would let those screens last a long time. But then my opponent decided that he was not going to win. He decided to cancel the fight. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and this is my first ever Pokemon video on my channel when it comes to Scarlet and Violet. Please let me know in the comments how you liked it or not. Please let me know also if you want to continue seeing these videos. I will keep posting them because I like Pokemon a lot, and I want to get better at the game, and I need y'all's tips because I am not the best. My team building is unique. I don't look up other teams. I just look up Pokemon I like and try to make a team around it, which is not really probably the best idea, but it's what I do. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I love doing it. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and give me your feedback in the comments. I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.